Viewer discretion is advised.
Dr. House cowered in the corner of the room. He shut the door and used a chair to blockade it, then hoped to God that the entity would not find him. What do I do? What do I do? Please, God. The door banged repeatedly, budging and denting bit by bit. It was soon smashed open, revealing an entity crawling on all fours. It spotted House, then jumped and pinned him against the wall. Get the hell away from me! Meanwhile, in a dark room. You think he'll make it? Maybe, maybe not. Either way, he's earned a good point from me. We'll just have to see how he handles the entity. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you SCP Foundation Uncontained Object SCP-2744. SCP-2744, also known as TATTLETALE, entry removed from database, is a codename for an anomalous entity confirmed as a biped humanoid standing over 2 meters in height. A torn head covering made from white burlap fabric and a large aluminum zipper across its oral cavity hide its physical features. The true name of the entity remains unknown and is not to be investigated further. 2744 is extremely hostile. It is known to target those who attempt to investigate or discern its true identity. Attack methods primarily consist of ambushing prey in isolated settings. No known methods of obstructing or restraining the entity from its target currently exist. All attempts to hide or relocate from 2744 have been ineffective thus far. The first known appearance of TATTLETALE was discovered by the Global Occult Coalition, GOC. Following a surge of murders and disappearances, the GOC requested aid from the Foundation to investigate the potential anomalous threat. William Miller walked into a dark room in Site-119. The lowly agent, whose peak of his career involved fetching the director's coffee mug from the store, was given an assignment of utmost importance. Or so they said. It was one he could not refuse. Inside the room, a terminal lit up. Instructions were written on it. Welcome, William Miller. This anomaly currently presents no danger to you. Please enter your details. Despite feeling uneasy, Miller typed his details into the terminal. Welcome to the team. The words flashed across the screen, then shut itself off. Miller could feel a subtle shift in his surroundings. He heard chattering behind the door from which he entered. He opened the door and walked through it and found himself in a residence. When he looked back, the door and the dark room had disappeared. Strange, but nothing's ever normal with the Foundation anyway, Miller thought to himself. It was a crime scene. A blood-stained sofa and a messy table sat at the corner of the hall. An unknown body sprawled on the platform, with Sammy Radcliffe from MTF Fire Dawn and Agent Green standing nearby. Dr. Stephen House was taking notes on a digital pad. Hi, Agent Miller reporting in. You're late, Miller. Now make yourself useful and see what you can find around here. Miller leaned in to examine the body. The skin and muscles had been torn off. Deep puncture wounds and bite marks all over the body, and chunks of flesh adhered to the nearby wall with dried blood. He almost threw up. Despite attempts at identifying the remains of the body, Foundation personnel were unable to discern any relevant data. Likewise, none of the surrounding residents were able to attest to the identity of the residence's occupier or provide any information on them. Soon, another body was found, an unknown victim with similar injuries, but also couldn't be identified, possibly due to an anomalous property of TATTLETALE that somehow erased their identities. At the same time, several Foundation research personnel went missing one by one. That's another one from our research team missing now. It's like we're being hunted. What makes you say that? Think about this. They had records of 7 of us being on that research team. 4 of those records are expunged now. At the same time, 4 new killings. Too much of a coincidence to be otherwise. Wait, where's House? He could be next. He panicked and retreated to a safe house in that townhouse complex facility. Miller immediately turned around and began putting on his gear. Stop, Miller. I know what you're planning to do, but we've got our orders. Command wants us back at Site-119. That's an order, Miller. No. House is next. I'm not about to leave one of our own to the dogs. I'm going for him. And if you're gonna be a coward, then stay the hell away. He stormed out of their outpost before Radcliffe could stop him. Miller hopped into his car and sped down the highway towards his destination, breaking every known traffic law. Under the cover of darkness, he pulled into the parking lot with no headlights on. Miller withdrew his gun and stealthily made his way to the complex door. It appeared to have been forcefully opened. Miller pressed his body against the door, pushing it open with his weight. The door opened to an expansive warehouse, much larger than its exterior let on. "House! House! Where are you?" He heard something crashing far ahead and ran towards the source. At the end of the hallway, he took a sharp left and saw another door ajar. Miller gripped his gun and steeled himself for the worst. The door slowly swung open and revealed House's body on the floor. He was badly injured with deep claw marks and jagged puncture wounds all over his body, and his limbs were awfully mutilated. Miller reached to feel for a pulse, but was stopped by House's grasp. Run. "Hang in there, House. I'm getting you out of here." Suddenly, something screeched behind Miller. He quickly turned around to see Tattletale lunging towards him and pinning him to the ground. Its zipper was unlatched, exposing its blood-stained teeth. It screeched once more. Miller tried to strike back with his free hand, but failed. As he swung, Tattletale maneuvered around his forearm and chomped down on his exposed flesh. His bone crunched as Miller screamed in pain. In desperation, Miller shot with his only working hand and hit the creature's neck. That gave Miller some breathing room as the entity leaped backward and howled. He fired several more rounds at Tattletale, but it scaled upwards towards the ceiling. Miller stepped back, but slipped on House's blood, causing him to scream in pain as he landed on his damaged arm. Tattletale then bared its teeth and once again lunged at Miller. Suddenly, a loud gunshot impacted Tattletale and launched it to the far wall. Miller turned around and saw Radcliffe standing at the entrance, wielding a shotgun. "What the hell are you doing? Get up and run! Now!" Radcliffe stepped towards Tattletale and fired once more, knocking it back again. "Wait, but House, for goodness sake, now's not the time, just go!" She pulled at Miller's shoulder and pushed him towards the exit. They ran out of the hallway and into a warehouse. A dead end. From behind, Tattletale screeched. "Damn it, now what do we do?" Radcliffe grunted and reloaded her shotgun. "I'll distract the thing, and you find an opening to do whatever you can." "Hey, you, over here!" Tattletale's screech could be heard from down the hallway, followed by a series of thumping as it closed in on their position with haste. Once it showed up in Radcliffe's view, she unloaded more shells. Tattletale screeched and tanked the shots as it moved in closer. "Miller, where are you?" Radcliffe attempted to engage another shell, but her gun jammed. She struggled to reload it, and Tattletale, as if seeing an opening, screeched and ran at her. It tackled Radcliffe and bit into her shoulder, tearing out a good chunk of flesh before tossing her aside like a rag doll. "Oh my God, Radcliffe, I'm so sorry." Tattletale slowly approached Miller. As he broke into a run, Tattletale dropped to all fours and chased after him, leaving trails of blood behind. The entity began shaking and contorting erratically as it gave chase, blinking in and out. Soon enough, Miller found another exit. Almost there, almost there. As Miller approached the exit, the door slammed open, and he was met with MTF personnel. Get down! Get down!" Miller dropped to the ground. Then the MTF immediately rained bullets upon Tattletale, pushing it back. "Come on, get up! Get in the car now!" Disregarding his injuries, Miller pushed himself to jump back to his feet and sprinted toward the armored vehicle. He reached the car and looked back. Tattletale was pinning an MTF personnel and shredding his body, with a few others lying dead on the ground. "Damn it! Damn it!" He opened the door and jumped in, only to find himself back in the dark room in Site 119. He looked back, and the door shut close. "You weren't supposed to let me die like that, Miller." The terminal turned on, and Radcliffe emerged from the dark, appearing in front of Miller unharmed. "Congratulations, you passed the test." "Wait, I don't get it. What's going on?" "You may know my name, but you do not know who I truly am. I'm Sammy Radcliffe, head of the Simulacrum Project. What you've seen and experienced after stepping into this room and interacting with that terminal right there was all part of an exercise I've designed to test an agent's suitability for fieldwork. You were chosen for this simulation exercise to be tested, and you've shown great integrity throughout the exercise. and the fact that you've returned alive when the candidates before you, some of whom even seen action, failed and perished during the course of the exercise, shows how much potential you have in you. You were selfless, but reckless. You disobeyed direct orders, and that could potentially put your team at a major disadvantage. Nonetheless, we are pleased with your performance. What about the creature, Tattletale? Last I saw, it was tearing our men apart. Oh, that? It's something we created as a villain. You could say to test our agents. I designed it. Pretty scary, right? No matter. For now, get some rest. You've earned it. But we are still very far from being finished with you. Radcliffe turned around and disappeared into the darkness, leaving a battered, confused Miller staring at the terminal. Before we end this video, we are proud to present these incredibly sweet pieces of fan art. A big thank you to all of you. You can now send us your fan art, and we will be more than happy to show off your best art piece in our next video. Check out our description below on how to submit. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Which SCP do you want to see in the next video, and why it is interesting? Let us know in the comment below. We will draw your story and share it with the world. Don't forget to click like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Please share it to your friends if you like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.